Hello, hello.
You are back here with me, your host, Lauren.
And me, Jamie. Welcome, y'all.
Yes, this is episode 2 of the Chicks and Dip podcast. We are so excited to be back on the set. Thank you all for the love from episode 1, first of all.
Yeah, we got so many good comments from you guys, and it was really awesome. And also, if you're watching the video version, we've got some fancy freaking mics here, people.
New mics.
Look at these babies.
This. Boom. We
So dramatic.
have a really, really good guest on today. We're so excited. We're talking about a topic that is super relatable to Jamie and I think really relatable to a lot of people. It's called, whatever. The topic is like basically making a career 180. So before we bring the guest on, we have some fun kind of like weekend stories to tell y'all. Some random things that have come up this week that we want to chat about.
Yeah, and you guys can probably relate to some of these stories as well.
Where should we start?
So apparently Lauren has this amazing story from Asheville, North Carolina this past weekend that she has shared with Erica, but won't tell me.
Okay.
So I'm in the dark.
I'm realizing in this moment that I have overhyped my story. It's really like not that crazy, but it just in the moment was, okay, let me just tell you.
Okay.
So we went to Asheville and it was a holiday weekend. So like all the nice hotels were like extremely expensive. And so we stayed at a Best Western, like the kind with like the outdoor, like the motel style. It wasn't like terrible, but like I want y'all to understand this is not like a fancy hotel. It's just fine, right?
It's just fine.
So we go out on Saturday night and we come back and like we'd been to a couple bars. We had some sake, had some shots, and I go into the lobby and we're going to get a little water and a snack, and I realize there's this fish tank, right? And I'm looking around for the fish. It's a huge, fully decorated fish tank, like huge. And there's no fish. And I'm like, what is going on? And Cameron's like, no, there's fish in there. I'm like, I'm telling you, there's not. I don't see one. I'm like tapping on the glass. So I go up to the front desk and I'm talking to the guy and I'm like, where's the fish? And he's like, and I'm like, oh my God, what is that sigh about? And he literally looks at me and goes, you seem pretty drunk, so I'll tell you the truth.
Oh.
And so I'm like, first of all, what kind of story is this where I have to be drunk to hear the truth?
Yeah.
Like, does he think I'm not going to remember? Like, I don't know where this is going. He goes, you see that hotel next door? And I'm like, let me look. And so we peek out, and it is the Best Western Glow, which is like the slightly nicer version of the Best Western that we're at right now. It's like the indoor door version. It's got like a cuter sign. But again, these are not nice hotels. Like, this is just regular.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I see that hotel. And he goes, when that Glow Hotel went up next door, they came over here and they took half the fish. I was like, what? And then he goes, and the next day we came and the other half was belly up.
Wait, did they kill the fish?
Like, it's not that crazy, but like the more I think on it, the more I'm like, this is fucking crazy.
Okay,
like,
hold on.
What?
I have so many questions. A, they couldn't have gone and bought other fish?
What is the fish budget?
First of all,
Like,
Best Western Glow. Get your own damn Dories and Nemos, okay?
literally.
Oh my God.
It was crazy. And so because I was drunk, I was like going, like I was in shock about these fish. I was like, oh my God, a fish scandal. And so then I was like texting like my best friend Brooks, like in all caps. I'm like, all caps, hotel fish scandal. And he's like, what? And I just never responded. I'm like, you know what? Never mind. I'll keep this to myself. Crazy though, right? I'm like, weird.
But A, why didn't they get their own fish? And B, why didn't they replenish the fish? Like, I think there's enough fish to go around. C, why is their tank still empty? Take it upon yourself to replenish the fish.
Yes, it was a fully functioning hotel. Like, just get more fish or report it to, who do you report that to? Corporate? Fish thievery?
Oh my God, put some damn sea monkeys in that thing. You don't even have to, oh my God.
The snails, something easy. A frog. I had those in my house one time. Oh, we had a turtle too, actually, in a little bitty tank.
Did you?
Anyway, yeah, they stink. But yeah, so that was like my hotel fish scandal. So after I texted Brooks, I also drunk texted you and Erica.
Yeah.
And I was like, remind me to tell you about the hotel fish. And you're like, okay.
Literally was so confused. We have our little like podcast group message and I was like, not quite sure what's happening in here, but that's okay.
So just like one of those really weird things that I'm going to be thinking about for like, a year.
Yeah.
I'm going to always wonder, why steal the fish?
I think we should take a trip back and bring them some fish.
Oh my, wait, that would be
Can you
hilarious.
imagine? That would be really funny.
Be like, we got this for you.
I think we should do it.
Corporate would probably flag us. Be like, these two are up to something. They can never stay in a Best Western again.
Something's wrong with the fish. They have some kind of illness.
Yeah. But the other thing that like was a trend for the weekend, other than the weird fish, was my nipple covers. You know, those little stick-ons that you do.
Sticky boobs.
Yes, the little ones though that only go on your
the
nipple.
little petals.
Yes. So I wore those the first night we were there, and I took them off, and I like was jokingly like throwing one at Cameron, and it stuck to the wall. And for whatever reason, we thought that shit was so funny. Like I was crying laughing at it sticking to the wall. We started having nipple cover races. And so we were throwing them on the wall and seeing whose would stick the longest. Like, I was screaming in this hotel. I was like, no, 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 no. Ah! Like, whenever it was falling off the wall.
Oh, my God. I wish you had recorded this.
So, flash forward, right after the fish incident. Well, I do actually have a video. We made a TikTok. It didn't do well. Whatever. It didn't go viral, which is really rude.
Not yet.
Not yet. Mm-hmm. But after the fish incident, keep in mind, like, we're, like, smashing our food. I'm, like, talking about the fish. And I took I just ripped my nip covers off and threw them on the, on the mirror. And they stuck. And Cameron got the funniest picture of me. I'm pointing at them. Again, I don't really know what I'm saying, what the context is. But I'm pointing at them. And my face is, like... And he sent it to my freaking mom. I was like...
Oh my God, you're probably good. Good, Lauren, good.
She wasn't even worried about, like, this girl is obviously, like, drunk as hell and, like, her nip covers on. She wasn't worried. All she said was, why are they not on your nips?
On your nips. I love that.
I was like, Mom. So, I'll definitely be sharing that picture of me. It's, like, one that I cherish deeply. So,
wait, that's hysterical.
Yeah.
Okay, so on top of that, we got into a deep conversation about sleepwalking the other day.
Whoa.
Oh my God, Erica, I don't even know if I read you these text messages. So, hey, shout out Lorene, my sister. She's just hilarious. Like, all this shit happens to her all the time. And it's a running joke in my family. We're like, how does this happen to you? I don't understand. So, I've never slept walk before.
Me neither.
I think there's been a few times that, like, I've talked in my sleep. But Sunday, she texted me at 4:15 p.m. And background context, she is with her boyfriend and their entire family. I learned that there was about 20 people in this house that they were staying in.
Oh, my God.
Yep, not just like him, his parents. No, like a full-on family reunion anniversary. Lorene goes, just an FYI, in Florida with Seuss's whole family. And I slept walk last night with no pants on. So I'll leave you with that. And I said, STFU. And she said, yep, absolutely no words. I said, did anybody see you? And she goes, Anna came down, who's Jesus' sister, came down, and I had my knees inside my shirt, sleeping in a little ball, no pants on. She goes, no idea what the fuck is wrong with me. And I said, did she wake you up? She goes, yep, and I smiled. Held her hand as she guided me back upstairs. Like, yeah, funny, but also, like, what in the actual fuck is wrong with me? Okay, so the funniest thing, we ended up talking a few days after that, and I'm like, how did this even happen? And more to the story was that Anna woke up with Lorene next to her bed, just like sitting there next to her bed. And Anna was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Lorene just got up, walked out of the room, walked down a full flight of stairs down to this couch. And I'm like, can you imagine? That is like my worst nightmare, being with like my boyfriend's family, sleepwalking nonetheless with no pants on. Can you imagine? She's like, yep. She was like, yep, literally butthole, vagina, everything was out. Like,
oh,
just
no, no panties?
Think about it. Guys, I have shorts on, don't worry. But, like, she was literally like this and had her shirt, no pants. No
panties?
Nope. Just a straight up T-shirt on.
Oh.
Yeah, so that makes it even worse.
Also, okay, this is, like, extremely ballsy to go on vacation with your boyfriend's family and not wear panties.
Right, Lorene?
Lorene, I love this for you, but like...
Wait. Even more ballsy, because now thinking about it, I'm pretty sure that Lorene, Jesus, and Anna were all staying in the same room. Hold on. So many stars are aligning right now. Okay, I'm disturbed. Okay, good.
Oh my God.
But so we started getting into like a whole talk about sleepwalking, and you had a very interesting story of yourself.
Yeah, so I have never sleptwalked, but I've experienced sleepwalking, and it is hysterical. So at my old apartment that me and my roommate lived in, shout out apartment 4, we had, like, her room was right here, and then there was a hallway, and then my room. And so we would both sleep with our doors shut. And so we had company in town, and I had a friend who was over with me, and he sleptwalked in the middle of the night, and she would always sleep with her TV on. So he sleptwalked into her room, and she woke up, and he was turning like the volume down on the TV, just standing there, no shirt, like underwear, and just standing, and like I would shit my pants if I woke up and there was a man in my room. Like, oh my God. And so she's just going, like she's just screaming, and he literally looks at her still asleep and goes, shh. Shushes her to stop screaming and continues to turn the volume down. And then he walked back to my room and he like woke up. And I was like, what's going on? Like I wake up to her screaming and he's standing. I'm like, what's going on? And so then we had to have like, you know, a whole come to Jesus that like he wasn't being a weirdo. Like he was just in your room. He was sleepwalking. Your TV was kind of loud, but it was crazy. And she locked her door from then on.
Oh yeah,
forever.
Oh yeah, I would too. I mean, it's crazy the shit that you do when you're sleepwalking or sleep talking. My sister's been yelling that there's a fire. When she first moved in with her boyfriend, or like when they first started dating, mid-sleep, just starts yelling fire. And Jesus is getting up. He's like, Lorene, we need to get out. We need to get out. And she's like, oh. Goes back to sleep. Like, sis, something is wrong. I'm like, I wonder if like you just drink something and that's when weird things happen. But that reminded me also of a story. I'm not going to use my friends' names because she will literally kill me. But our apartment senior year, one of our friends was sleeping and one of my other roommates came home. And I think it was because she was super drunk, but she also didn't know that she did it. So my one roommate wakes up to the other roommate peeing by her bed. Like straight up peeing on the floor.
That's happened to, not to me, but someone, I've woken up and someone has been peeing on my wall before. Also sleepwalking when they were drunk. I think that's a common thing. I think like peeing in closets that you think are bathrooms, peeing on floors that you think is about like, yeah. I think that's actually common when people are drunk.
I mean, I am totally going to out myself right now. Have you had the dreams that you're dreaming you're on the toilet peeing?
Oh, well,
and you pee the bed?
Oh no, it's never.
You've never done.
No, I thought that you were going to say like you just feel like you're peeing in bed. That happens to me all the time. I never actually done it.
Oh no, I've done that shit.
You let it rip, like
you let it flow. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah. Whoo. Shit. Okay. Really out of myself there, guys. I don't pee the bed all the time. I swear to God, it's happened like once in the past few years. I think it's if I drink a lot before I go to sleep. Not like drunk. Like I've never pissed myself drunk.
That's good.
But like I'm literally having a dream that I'm like on the toilet and my body is stopping me because it happens every time because like I don't do it. But then the second that I do, I wake up immediately and I'm like, fucking A, I just pissed.
I'm peeing myself. Oh my
God.
God.
Oh my God. People are going to watch this and be like, something's not good.
Wow. So funny. Okay.
Really just outed myself.
We should do a poll though. Maybe we'll do like an Instagram story poll. Like, have you peed the bed before? Like,
okay.
Be honest.
Yeah. Have you peed the bed? Not when you're drunk. That doesn't count. Have you had the dreams that you are on the toilet and you need to go pee?
Yeah.
B, have you slept walked? And please send your sleepwalking stories.
Yes. Some of them are scary. Like going down a full flight of stairs whenever you're like asleep is crazy.
Oh, that's what Lorene said. She literally went down a full flight of stairs. How did you not eat shit?
Or like whenever, really, whenever you like go out on a balcony, like I've heard of that. Like people sleepwalk onto a balcony and they wake up and they're outside. Like, where am I? Like, that's so weird.
That's really scary, actually.
Freaky.
Yeah.
Anyway,
sorry guys, we had to talk about those stories.
So that's where we've been at this week. How are you guys doing?
Yeah. Hope you're having a great week not peeing the bed. We made it through another week without doing that, guys. So I guess that's a +1 for me.
Way to go, Jamie.
That's what I'm going to tell someone on a date.
Yeah. I guess, should we get into it? I feel like we can go down the pee rabbit hole. Like, we should do a pee episode, maybe.
Maybe.
Anyway, so we're about to get into the guest. We have a really, really great guest today. His name is Frank Quattro. We'll do a full-on introduction, but a little bit of background on how we chose this topic. We're going to dive into this like later on a full episode, but Jamie and I both went to college for television news and kind of realized after a year, 2 years, that it wasn't for us. And so Frank has a similar journey, and we really think that it'll be relatable to you guys. So we're going to go ahead and introduce him.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all. We are here with our first guest. Ooh. We have Frank Quattro on the set today. Frank worked towards a career in golf for 15 years, and in 2020, he was not having a good time at work and thought a change of scenery might be what he needed. So he moved out to Arizona to continue working in golf. Then he realized what he actually needed was a career change. he decided to pursue his passion, fitness, and health. Welcome to the pod, Frank.
Yes, thank you guys for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah,
for
our
sure.
first guest, as Lauren said. So
Yes.
this is a big
I'm
move.
honored. I'm
Yeah.
honored. I'm very
It's a big
honored.
move.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
thank you guys.
this topic, this is kind of like fun because we really have not like talked about us and you
Yeah.
at all
Yep.
and why we even brought you here. But this topic is something that we feel so hard because both of us went to school and started a job in something that wasn't what it seemed,
Yeah.
and we kind of felt super lost when it all fell apart.
Yes, for sure.
It's rough.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah.
Not fun at all.
It's something we're still trying to figure out currently, and a lot of people
You
are
guys got
trying
time.
to
Yeah,
figure
I think a lot of people are like in jobs that are just supposed to be. You're supposed to do this job. You're supposed to be content with this. But it's scary to branch out and do something you really like care about because
Yeah.
you don't really have, everything drawn out right away, and you got to kind of go on the fly a little bit. But
Yeah.
once you do it, it's worth it for sure.
So-
Once you make that jump.
I feel like we should kind of start with how did you choose your initial career in golf and why did you pursue that from the
Yeah, so
get-go?
I hated school. I hated college. I hated anything like normal, and I loved golf. So my dad moved to Charleston, South Carolina. I was going to go to this school. It was called the Professional Golfers Career College in Orlando, and he came down here to Charleston and found one in Hilton Head. It was brand new. So I went to it. It was like a 2-year school. You get like a degree in associate's degree in professional golf management. So it was like the most non-school school you can kind of get to. So I went to that. Maybe kind of regretted a little bit. Probably would have went to like a normal school and had like the normal full college experience. But got into that, got a job in the golf industry, and just kind of kept going with it. Worked my way up. You kind of start as like a server equivalent of the golf industry. You kind of start as like a cart guy where you're kind of getting people's bags and kind of being that service industry type, and worked my way up into management. And then you're in a career that you think is right for you because you like the sport. I liked golf, and you just realize that you can have a little better purpose and do a little more with what you are and who you are. So I decided to break off.
Yeah. And you were in that, correct me if I'm wrong, but for 15 years?
Yes,
Wow,
yes.
okay.
So like starting when I was 14, I started working at a golf course at my hometown in Pennsylvania. And then when I moved down here, I continued that, and that was it.
Wait, where in Pennsylvania?
So, so like Youngstown, Ohio, Newcastle, Pennsylvania is where
Okay,
I'm from.
I went to
Like,
Penn State.
Oh, I'm an Ohio State fan. So
Oh, what? No.
don't
Lauren,
know.
I think we got to reevaluate
Don't
Lauren's
know
guest
if
here,
that's
guys.
gonna work out here, But I respect Penn State. I respect that.
On a serious note, though, what was kind of the turning point for you? Like,
Yeah.
after 15 years, I'm done.
So I think like I was at a place here at the golf course I was working at where I started feeling a little bit burnt.
Mr. Kim is acting up
Yeah,
today.
hey,
Started
absolutely.
feeling unwell, and also I feel like
So I, again, like probably leading up to when I actually quit, probably like honestly a year up into that, I started thinking about it. I even reached out to Orangetheory and tried to kind of, like I said, I was certified, but I needed to kind of re-up my certification and get into that. And it's a process getting into Orangetheory, so it never happened. So it was what it was. And then COVID hit, and things happened at work, and I was like, well, let me just use this as a time to move to Arizona. And I did, and like instantly was like, no, this isn't it. And I was gone. So in Scottsdale, you can build a personal training career a little easier than Savannah. So not that it was easy, but it was like a good place to start that, I felt
Yeah.
like. So.
And so, did you have feelings of like unsure,
Yes.
like
No
way
doubt
earlier,
about it.
like years
No
earlier?
doubt. Like unsure about golf?
Yeah.
Yes. Probably like a year and a half earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd gone through like my own little fitness journey where I was, I used to smoke cigarettes and do all that fun stuff and like be out of shape and so I met a couple of Army Rangers here at the course that I worked at, and they kind of changed my mindset a little bit. So like I feel like when you go through something like that, you kind of have that passion differently for it, like you really, because you lived it and you can kind of go through it, and just sort of growing like my knowledge in fitness. And it was always a passion, but I didn't really think of anything making a career of it. And then just kind of pulled the trigger. It was a lot of
Oh my God.
aggressive.
Okay, you guys, if you're not watching the video, Mr. Kim, he's our studio cat. He literally has been all through Frank's legs. He's been jumping on Jamie. Kim, honey, I need you to get out.
He literally, you guys didn't see this, but I just saw his little eyes looking up at me. I was like, not going to go well.
That's good.
Maybe, look, if he does it again, I'm going to have to escort him off the set. Scott, look, he's coming for the camera. He's coming for the camera. Do you want me to move him, for real? Do you want me to move him?
You don't have to.
All right.
He's good.
Whatever.
He's fine.
Tim, it's your lucky day. Anyway, so sorry.
No, you're good. I'm good.
And so I guess whenever you got out to Arizona and realized, like, okay, I need a change. What was your thought? Like, did you just do it? Were you nervous? Like, how were you feeling?
Yeah, for sure. There was a lot of nights where I'm like, I'm like a people pleaser, so it was more like, what is my family going to think? Like, what is, like, I've worked through this career, like, what are people going to think? Like, a lot of people in the company that I worked for was Troon Golf. It was a management company. They managed the golf courses that I worked at for a while. It was like, what are they going to think? Like, because I made this big deal moving out to Arizona and took that big position. And it's like, you know, did the whole Facebook post thing, moving out there, and it's like, okay, now what? I'm going to quit after 3 months. So it was, golf is busy here, but it was a factory in Arizona. So, like, I like more so, like, the building relationships with members type of, like, part of the aspect of golf. And out there, it was just all transient guests, all people on vacation all the time. You never really get to build that relationship. So, and it was just chaos all the time. And golf industry is one of those industries that you work a ton of hours and don't get paid a ton. There's a thing that I like to call the work per dollar ratio, and it was not very good in the golf industry. So you work a lot of long weeks, and it's just not worth it, you know.
We understand that on a spiritual level. Yes. We worked at the news, in the news industry. Yeah, he said that, and I was like, I looked at you, I'm like, oh, no.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so hard because you have, like, this dream to do something, and then you start doing it, and you're so excited.
Yeah, for sure.
And when it burns out that quick, it's like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
Like, it's really scary. And I love what you just said, that you did the Facebook post.
Yeah.
That crosses my mind every time I, like, make a job change or anything. I always post about it, and it feels so good, and then it's like...
Until you have to pull it back.
It's like, you don't want to be embarrassed.
No.
You don't want people to think, like, oh, my God, she's a loser. She did her job for a month and quit. It sucks.
Well, I want to expand upon that because, at least for me personally, when I was in the news, I was in my reporter job for 10 months.
Yeah.
And it was so scary. And it kind of ties in with, like, family and how you were saying people were reacting. We can go into that more because I think that's really important. But that was something where I'm like, oh, my God, I've only been here for 10 months. Like, I need to be sticking it out. This is so embarrassing. I'm posting about my job, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like, no, you need to trust your gut. If it is not, it really doesn't matter nowadays.
No,
either.
it doesn't. And that's the thing. Like, it took me a while to be like, all right, people are going to think what they want to think, and you just gotta go. Like, for me, it was about, I can make more of an impact in people's lives as a personal trainer rather than just figuring out more ways to take their money as a golf shop manager. So it's like, you know, and I taught golf a little bit, but again, it was more like of the purpose thing and just, you know, trying to get out of that, like, get out of that corporate mindset in a way, sort of.
I love this.
Yeah, it was tough, but fun. So worth it now. This is literally like my dream job. I love it. You know.
And so what did your family think? Like, was the reaction anything that you had hyped up to be?
So I didn't tell my dad for 5 months because he's like that hard-nosed Italian guy, and it's just like he had no idea. That was a good thing about being 3,000 miles away, that I can, you know, keep that quiet. Told my mom, I talked to her more about things that I'm not really afraid to talk to her about it. So I told her, and then she kind of told the rest of my family. And she was more so like, as long as you're going to make money and like not be poor, you know, which I was for a little bit. But you go through that, and she was, I mean, she just wants me to be happy, of course. But I mean, I still don't know what some people think, like coworkers and everything. I mean, I know I'm starting to talk to some people because they see me posting more now, and they're like, well, I'm glad to see you're happy now, blah, blah, you're doing this. And they can tell when I talk about it that it's more of, I have more passion for it than the golf industry. And now I love playing golf again. Like, I got to the point where I hated golf, and now I'm like excited every time I get to go play. So it like brought that passion back into it that, you know, my grandfather was a big golfer, and he's my influence in golf. And he passed away like in 2020. So that also probably played a key into it. Like, he probably wouldn't have been a big fan of me quitting the golf industry because he never worked in it, but that was kind of his dream to do that. And I think kind of once, you know, he passed, it was like just one thing led to another, and I was like, all right, I just got to go. Like, time to get out.
An industry is so different until you work in it.
It
Like
is.
when you just said that about the golf industry. Oh, Mr. King.
Guest appearance.
Whether it's a golf industry or even for us in the news industry. I mean, people are like, wow, you work
Yeah.
at a local news station, you're on TV.
Like, you should be happy.
Yeah, this is
I
so
know.
cool. And
Yeah.
it was like, I was actually so miserable.
I know.
But that's where social media is also crazy. So it's funny
Yeah.
that you're just kind of like getting back into it.
Yes,
Because my
yes.
mom was like, you would never know how much you hated it.
Yeah,
doing
that's what
it.
people said to me too. They're like, I would have never known. One guy who was right under me at the course I was at in Savannah, he knew because I was like talking to him more because he was going to kind of take my place. So like when I was applying to like Orangetheory and stuff in 2020 or 2019, he kind of knew that I was like burnt out and sick of it just because, being at like a resort course, you get everything piled on you and you're expected to still do the same thing for the same amount of pay. Just not having that. So it's just not good, not ideal.
I also
So.
love what you said about your passion for playing golf had gone away and then it came
big
back.
part of that. Because like my dad would be like, "Oh, did you watch the golf?" And my dad's not a big golfer, and I'd
Mm-hmm.
be like, "No, like I didn't. I don't want to watch golf. I don't want
Yeah.
to be a part of it." Like
Yeah.
it just got to the point where you get so burnt out and you don't
Mm-hmm.
want to play. And now I love to play again. So that was also, like, of course, a big part of it, getting that passion back for it. So
Whenever, I don't know if this happened to you, but whenever I quit the news, I was blissfully unaware for like a year.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so
Everyone,
like that.
yeah, they'd be like, "Did you hear about whatever
Like,
accident? Did
no.
you hear about whatever so-and-so said?" I'm like, I don't know, and I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't want any part of it. And I think I've always in my gut had that feeling of like, it's your responsibility to be informed, and I completely did not have
Yeah.
that anymore. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to know, and now I feel same thing. That's
You
I'm
get
like
that
reading
inkling
news
back. Yeah,
articles again.
of
Baby
course.
steps.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
crazy.
it brings that passion back for sure.
We literally
So.
were watching the live stream of the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case
that was
in our
interesting.
office,
Of course,
and Lauren
yeah.
and I were so intense watching the lower thirds come up. Lauren literally noticed the lower third was wrong, and both of our news brains were just like, "Oh, that EP back there." I was like, "No, no, 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 no!
Somebody's
like,
getting
we're gonna
their
be
shots out today. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had said a little while ago, so you moved to Arizona.
Yeah.
And I think that's very telling, and probably other people can relate that clearly it's not a change in scenery.
Yeah.
Like, you just genuinely were unhappy.
Yeah,
and that's
for
what
sure.
you came to realize when
Yeah,
you moved.
no doubt, no doubt. I think because I had been at one place at Savannah so long that I figured the change of scenery would be good, but it was like magnified. It like magnified the problem, if that makes sense. Because out there, it's again a lot busier, a lot more like kind of cutthroat, a lot of turnover. Like my final straw was I hired these two guys from New York. They came in. They were caddies at a course in New York. And they literally worked one day, and then the next day I was off. It was a Friday. On their lunch break, they straight up left. Didn't tell anybody, just left. So I got a call from my outside supervisor. Was like, "Hey, your boys left." I'm like, "What do you mean they left?" They just didn't say anything and took off. And I'm like, "All right, I'm done. Like I can't."
Yeah.
And then I called my boss and we had to talk, and that was it. Like it's just I do better at just managing myself and like training people that want to actually, be working out and actually come to you for a reason, rather than just coming to you for a job. So that was kind of one of those final straws. It was just like, listen, I can't be responsible for people like this. I just gotta get out of it.
Yeah.
So
I'm not trying to like laugh, but have y'all seen that meme where it's like the guy with the duct tape on the bursting tank?
I
And
think I've
it's
seen
like
that. Yeah,
when couples
yeah.
have problems and they're like, have a
Just-
baby. And
yeah.
that's like the same thing with the
Yeah.
change of scenery.
Yeah,
it's like that's not
you're
going to
just trying-
fix the
no.
root,
Yeah.
you know?
It's not. No, it's not.
Well, I feel like people always think, oh, once I have a friend that's like this, and it's like, oh, once I move here, my life is going to be so much better.
No.
Once I have this
No.
job, my life is going to be so much better. And it's
Yeah.
actually, I read this book, Girl, Wash Your Face. Have you ever read that book?
I've never
swear to
read
God,
it. It's
not
in every Urban Outfitters on the planet.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, it's a good book. I vouch for it. It's a good book. But I believe it was in that book that Rachel Hollis, the author, was talking about that
Okay.
and how it is not a physical place that's going to change
No,
your
it's not.
being. It's actually what you're feeling deep down, and that's what people need
Yeah.
to realize. So it's like, no, your life isn't going to get better just
No.
because you moved to, I don't know, Dallas or
No,
moved to
for
New York
sure.
City or something.
Yeah,
It's actually something that you're feeling inside,
Exactly.
and that's not going to change until you fix
Now,
it.
like, I don't regret the move to Arizona, and again, like, I don't regret anything that I did in the golf industry because it definitely shaped the way I interact with people. Like, it made me comfortable teaching people and being in that role. And then Arizona, like, I met a lot of good people and a lot of good things happened out there. So I don't regret it, but at the same time, there was just this stretch of, like, a couple of golf tournaments that were around here. There's one in Charleston, one in, like, Ponte Vedra, and then one of my buddies actually went to Tacos and Tequila, which is right by my apartment, and he took a picture of my old apartment and was like, hey, we miss you, like, we're here. And then, like, a week later, a guy called me like, hey, I got a job opportunity probably coming up. I'm like, all right, like, I got to go.
Yeah.
So, and I was dating a girl out there, and as soon as I started talking about it, she was like, I'm out. Like, I think she saw that I was like, that I was moving back. I think she saw more than I did. Like, yeah, it was interesting.
Oh my God.
Arizona,
Lots
listen,
of
it was
changes. Well, adios to that girl.
I was in Arizona for exactly 365 days, okay?
No
I
way.
left my same apartment, and I came back within 2 months. I got my same apartment.
Oh,
So,
in the
like,
Savannah market.
yes.
What are they
Wow.
So like, I'm a big believer in, like, things happen for a reason. Like, it's meant to be that I'm back here for sure. And then everything kind of fell into place from there with, like, caddying and Orangetheory and everything kind of fell into place. So it was a struggle for a little while, but now we're good.
So, you went?
Do you believe in that phrase? What everything happens for a reason?
I am. I'm not extremely religious, but I am a God person, and
Yeah.
so I think that whatever's happening, I think He knows what's up.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
like,
for
that
sure.
is comforting to
Yeah.
me. So
Yeah.
I do believe that. Yeah.
I mean, some things definitely just plain suck. There's no
Right.
doubt about it.
Right.
But you try to learn from that pain and move on. I mean, as much as you can.
I just say that because I literally had a full-on debate last weekend
I'm
with
gonna-
people about this. When I was saying that I so believe that everything happens for a
Yeah,
reason.
yeah.
I think it was our friend Dana actually that she was talking about it, and she was just like, "No, like if something happens, you work for it," type of thing. Which is like this is a whole different conversation that we
Yeah,
can
yeah,
get into.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I appreciate that you said that.
It does. I'm a big believer in that. I can't, like, my life is proof of it. I can't disagree with that statement.
Yeah.
If anybody were to say whatever, you know, I got fired and it happens for a reason, I'd be like, yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
it works for some reason. So,
So whenever you were feeling like nervous to tell your family, nervous to make the change, like how did you get through that? Like how did you hype yourself up that it was going to be okay?
I just did it first.
Yeah.
And then figured out how I was gonna. I'm a figure it out guy, so I'll just dive in and then go from there. And so I literally just sorry.
Sorry.
Is the spray bottle for the cat? I gotta know.
Yes, it is. Normally if he sees it, he runs. Look
I'm like, what is going on?
listening to this right now.
Oh, that just made my day.
If you're not on video, if you're podcast only, Mr. Kim is just not having it. So Erica, our producer Erica just went and got the spray bottle, and I did have to spray him on the set. Get out of here, bro. Oh my god. He knows.
That was awesome.
Sorry.
But anyway,
I'm so
yes, I
sorry.
quit first. And then got a job at a commercial gym, just training. And then I figured out I told my mom first, I think, and then I told my sister, and then my aunt. So my dad's sister is real close to my dad. We can talk to her and like, because he's like the no emotion kind of guy, so we can talk to her and told her, and then kind of made me feel better. And then I eventually found the confidence to tell my dad eventually down the road. But he's good with it now, obviously. He sees that I'm happier and everything like that. And I think he wanted me to come back here. He lives in Charleston. So I think he wanted me to come back here too, to kind of be within like 2 hours. If we want to hang out, we can. So
Yeah.
I think that ultimately that helped ease things over a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So let me ask you, I'm extremely close with my family.
Mm-hmm.
Are you close with your family? It sounds like
yes, I'm bad at keeping in touch though.
Gotcha.
Like that's one of the things that I need to work on in life is calling. Like even I think one of my aunts commented on my Facebook post. She's like, "This is so good, but please call me every once in a while." And I'm just like, I feel so terrible.
She called you out.
Yeah,
That's
she
so
did for
cute.
sure. The Italian family, they're not afraid to express
yep.
feelings.
Oh
so.
my God.
So yeah, I family means a lot to me, but I am very bad at keeping in touch
Yeah.
with my family for sure. But
asked
I go
that-
back every summer, and I'm going to go back for like 10 days. We got a big family reunion with like 100 people, and it'll be great.
This
and
is
it'll
an
be awesome.
Italian family thing.
Yes,
I'm telling you
no
right now.
doubt
When
about
you
it.
just said about
Yeah,
them,
big
like,
family reunions.
letting you know if you haven't reached out, my poppy
Yeah.
that passed away also in 2020.
Okay.
he would always, I'd go over for dinner, which we literally lived
Yeah.
5 minutes down the street from them, okay?
Yeah.
He'd look at me and be like, it's so nice to have you here. I'm like, I'm going to be here all the time.
Like guilt trip.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm literally going back. It's called the Polari Pool Party. We've been doing
Okay.
it for 30 years.
Yeah.
We get rowdy. My
Yeah.
Long Island
A lot of wine.
cousins. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, my
yeah.
God. But, yeah, I'm, like, going home for that.
Yeah,
So this is,
for sure.
oh, my God, this is hysterical.
Yep,
The
yep.
pool party.
I love that you were
So you
like,
can relate, yep.
oh, yeah, I was talking about it.
Yep. So I go back for Christmas and I go back in the summer once, so I hang out, and it's good. But yes, I need to be better about, for any of my aunts that see this, I need to be better about keeping in touch. No doubt about it.
He
Yeah.
knows, Auntie.
Yeah.
I think it is really important, though, and scary to tell your family, though.
It is, for sure. Because, I mean, those are the people that you value their opinion the most, most of the case sometimes, so you're always worried about what they're going to think a little bit for the
Yeah.
most part.
Yeah. That's why I asked that. Like, I've had some decisions as an adult that my parents have not absolutely loved, and that I didn't know it was going to take such a toll on me.
It
But
does.
I'd be just like
Stresses you
randomly
out.
crying, and I'm like,
Yep.
I think it's because I think my mom's mad at me about this. You know,
No.
like it's really, it's so easy to say like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm an adult now, I don't care, I'm going to make my own decision. But
You
when
still
you
care.
value someone,
Yeah.
like you want them to
Deep
approve
down,
of
you feel it. Yeah, no doubt about it. And that's the thing, like the approval thing was a big part of like
Yeah.
getting over the whole career change, because it's like, what are people going to think?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care anymore. You got to just do what you got to do, and you're going to affect people's lives a certain way. And some people, like casting a net, like you're going to get some people and they're going to be all on board and all for it, and some people are going to be like, who does he think he is?
Right.
And that's just kind of the way it's always going to be. I feel like that'll only probably get worse as I go along in the
Yeah.
personal training career. So,
You don't have to share if you don't want to, but will you say how old you are?
32.
So I just wanted you to say that only because I feel like people think it's an only in your 20s thing. To
No,
not have
that
things
was another
figured
big
out.
part of it. Yeah,
Yep.
30.
And-
I was 30 when it happened, so yeah, that was like, am I starting over at 30? You know, but
And that's the thing, like, we're in such a different world now where our grandparents, like, my grandfather worked at GE for, like, 50 years or whatever it
Yeah,
was, you
yeah.
know, and I feel like nowadays it's so much more common to be at a job
Yeah,
for a
there
year or
is.
two and
Yeah.
then jump around, and it's okay
Yeah.
to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have to, even if you're, like, 32, even if you're 35, 40, like,
can still
people
jump,
are
yeah.
still figuring it out because
Yeah.
you change as a person as
Yeah.
you grow.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
And you do learn from all those experiences too.
Oh,
Like
completely.
again, like the golf industry taught me a lot. I mean, a lot of what I teach now, whether it's like demoing an exercise and how I'm communicating that, like that came from golf.
Yeah.
Like having people relate, like if you're doing a squat, telling them to like push their butt back as if they're shutting a car door with a handful of groceries. Like
Yeah.
that came from golf. That came from me teaching people how to get into a golf stance. So like things like that definitely. So I think like to anybody that thinks that they're not building towards whatever they love, like you got to try to find things in each job, whether it's like people skills or whatever it is. There's pretty much people skills in a lot of jobs. So
Yeah.
like, and you need that the more we go along in life. I feel like you need to be able to like talk to people and communicate and stuff like that. So I think as long as people try to find something that they can always carry over, then you're always in a way working towards whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
You know, so
So
that makes
true.
sense.
I agree. I hate whenever I hear people say like, "Oh, I went to college and I'm not even using my degree," and it's like, okay, but you probably learned skills.
Definitely,
Like,
yeah.
in 4 years, you learned a lot, no matter what
Yes.
you're doing. 4 years is a long time.
It's a long time. Yeah.
It is, and I think even for both of us studying that in school, and even Erica, you too, hey girl. And even all of us, it was so scary
Yeah.
figuring out that this wasn't what we wanted to do. And then it's like, did I just waste 4 years of my life? But no, not at all, because I know you feel the same way. I learned so much from the news.
Oh yeah.
And I'm still using it every
Yeah.
single day, but it just wasn't for me at the end of the day, and that's totally fine. I think now more than ever, people are taking gap years.
Oh,
and
yeah,
taking
for
time.
sure.
Like, one of my best friends from home is quite literally quitting his job like in
Yeah.
20 days and
Yeah.
moving home for 3 months to figure out what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And I know, and I'm like, for the first time, I feel like that is so
Yeah.
accepted and okay. It's like,
Yeah.
why are you going to waste your time in a job with something that's really not serving you at the end of the day?
Yeah, I know. My little brother's graduated college in December, so he's like just getting into that, and he had a job that he didn't really like for, you know, like maybe a couple months or a couple weeks, and he's telling me like he's going to leave it. And I'm like, I can't talk. Like
Right.
I left, you know, I jumped around a little bit in that year, you know, year after I quit the golf industry. It took a lot to figure out what, you know, I went back to golf a little bit, came out of it. Like it took a while to figure it out. So like I'm trying to give him advice. I'm like, can't really give you advice. Just, you know, do what you got to do, and you got to trust your gut. And,
Yeah.
and so he found another job and he's doing well now. But, you know, that pressure to like immediately get a job after college, I think, is going away.
Yes.
Or at least trying to go away. Some people still want to keep that intact, but.
That was literally my next question was going to be if there's somebody who's in a job that they feel like they don't love, what would you tell them?
I mean, first of all, make sure that whatever they do love, you're able to make a living out of it. No doubt about it. But then, I mean, other than that, you really just got to trust your gut. You got to, better to have a plan than not. I'm the guy who didn't have a plan and just quit and just figured it out. So definitely better to map it out and try to figure out how you're going to make money, what you're going to do. But don't care about what anybody else says, first of all. Like, you got to do what you love. And foremost, you can't get caught up in like what people are going to think about your decision. It's your decision. It's your life. Like, nobody else, no matter how much we can relate to one another, nobody else is going through your brain and, figuring out how you perceive things. So nobody actually knows how you feel. So you got to trust yourself and go with your gut. I mean, that's, pretty much it. Yeah. It's pretty simple. Like, there's not a lot of thought. I'm an overthinker. Wasn't a lot of thought in that. You just got to go.
I'm like, preaching to
It's probably an understatement of the year. Yes. Overthinker.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I think I only have one more question. I do want to focus on what you're doing now.
Yep.
And why do you do what you do now?
Yes, that's a great question. So people are very unhealthy individuals, like very unhealthy individuals. And I think like especially with COVID, and I know like some people stand on certain sides of it. I had COVID twice. It was 2 days, didn't really get sick and was out of it. Obviously, like I have family that got it worse because they have underlying conditions and everything like that. But if you take care of your body and if you take care of yourself and if you don't eat a bunch of junk and if, like I eat the pint of Ben & Jerry's every once in a while. Like I'll crush some ice cream, no doubt about it. But like 90% of what I eat is right. You got to sleep, you got to hydrate, all that stuff. And like exercise does so much for you. It makes your confidence boost and gives you that little confidence boost, makes you feel better about yourself. So I just want people, and we're all our own worst enemies. So like I feel like, especially in Orangetheory, like I'll try to push people to go a little more, whether it's whatever it is, or like Cam does a good job of bringing out heavier dumbbells, stuff like that. Like that's stuff I'm learning from him. That really, it makes people think like, oh, I can do this. I am stronger. I can go a little bit faster, stuff like that. So like I'm just trying to show people that if they just stop thinking and do and just go, that they can actually like be in control of their bodies and their health and feel better all the time and not have to have all these medicines and all this stuff like that. Like medicine stops our body from actually doing what it's supposed to do. You know what I mean? Like if you have a headache and you take Advil, like that sends signals to your body to like shut down. Whereas if you just again take care of yourself, your body works the way it's supposed to. So I just want people to know that. I want people to know that medicine is not always the answer and they need to just believe in themselves a little bit and push. I never know.
I usually always say that I hate putting stuff in my body.
I do, yeah. I don't have any medicine in my house. Maybe Mucinex for when I get a cold. That's about it. That's about it.
I actually had an allergic reaction to Mucinex.
Really?
That's not good.
Yeah.
See?
Green guy.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's
Yeah,
not
not
good.
well. Got him. My question for you, and obviously we've been talking about it this whole time, but for people that are in their 20s, in their 30s, feeling the way that you did, and even the way that we did, that they feel stuck or that they're going to let someone down, let themselves down, when they're just trying to figure out what would you have to say to people in that position right now?
I mean, again, like to trust yourself and like pen and paper is a powerful thing. Like sit there and write it out. Like write out thoughts, like journal.
Love journaling.
Whatever's going on in your brain, you have to sometimes get it out. Whether you're talking with a friend, whether you write it down, whatever it is. Take time to like think it out, have a process, not care what other people think. And another thing that I'm a big believer in is like silence. Like we'll always have stuff on, stuff going, like outside voices, whatever it is. Like literally shut yourself in a room for an hour and just with a piece of paper and a pen. And if you got so many things going on, you're worried about so much stuff with your job, your career, sit there in silence and just like meditate, think about it, write it out, and then go from there. Like don't, and the biggest thing again is don't worry about what other people think. I think that's, you know what you want to do, and as long as you can actually make a career out of it, you got to pursue it and figure it out.
I love that. Y'all hear that? After this podcast, sit in silence for
Sit.
a second and think about this
Sit.
conversation.
Go get
in
yourself
silence.
a journal. It really is the most underrated thing in the
It
world.
is.
I've always, I mean, like when you're in like middle school or elementary school
Yeah.
or whatever, like
Yeah.
you have a journal
Yeah.
or a diary to be like, oh, I have a crush
Yeah.
on so-and-so. But actually, like growing up, I've always
Yeah.
journaled. And
Helps.
literally a few months ago, I was like getting very sad about
Mm-hmm.
some things happening. And my mom straight up said to me, have you been journaling?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I haven't.
There you go.
And like then I started doing it again.
Yeah.
And it really does, like, because that's a moment for yourself.
Yeah, for
with
sure.
no one else's outside
Exactly.
thoughts. And it is just, when I look
Yeah.
back and read things, I'm like, wow.
It is kind of crazy. Like
Yeah.
I was reading some stuff that I wrote in Arizona, like before, making the career change, and it's like, it's kind of mind blowing to see. It definitely helped to write that stuff out. And I'm not saying I sit there and write every night, but like
Right.
when you're
You
feeling
need it.
stressed out, when you feel like you're backed up with thoughts, like spit it out on paper. It'll help, help you get over that a little bit.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
Wow.
it's good. Yeah, it's a lot of
Anything
good.
else you want to tell us?
No, come to Orange Theory. Come work out.
Yeah,
That's it.
plug yourself.
I know,
Where
I
can
gotta go.
people find you other than at the gym?
So on Facebook, Quattro _fitness is my Instagram. It is new. It is just getting started, as you probably see. I'm just starting to build that back up again. I was an anti-social media guy, so trying to make that productive. Come to Orange Theory and see me there. That's about it.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you so much for
Wow.
coming on.
Yeah,
I
thank y'all for
know.
having
So
me.
great meeting
It was
you.
fun.
This was fantastic.
It was fun.
I think that was a really great interview.
I loved that conversation with him. I feel like it was so relatable.
So
and
relatable.
He is just like clearly so comfortable talking about it. I think it was so good.
Yeah. He was being very honest.
He
Which
was.
is what makes it a good interview, guys.
Indeed. And Mr. Kim added some humor for us there.
did.
Thank you, buddy. Well, that is it for episode 2 of the Chicks and Dip podcast. We will be back next week with another great guest. Reminder that you can listen to us on anywhere that you get your podcast. We're on Spotify, Amazon, Google. Apple is coming soon. We are working on that approval. We had to kind of, it's a long story, but we're working
We're
on
getting
Apple Podcasts. We'll be on there very soon.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also watch us on YouTube every single week. New episodes drop every Monday morning. And please share. Where are we sharing?
Yeah, guys, we are on social media, of course. We have to be. If you don't have social media, it's a huge red flag for Lauren, just so you know. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Chicks and Dip Pod, Pod. Oh, guys, also make sure to tag us in your dip. Whoa, I almost said the other word. Dip pics.
Hashtag dip pics, you guys.
Not
It's
the other one.
It's a dangerous hashtag, and that's why we like it. Yeah, we're
Spicy.
going to be sharing some dip pics with you guys, like on our feed, on our story. But if you're eating a sexy dip, please tag
Please
Chicks
tag
and
us.
Dip Pod
Yeah.
on Instagram, please.
We will repost. But yeah, definitely give us a follow on there. Share anything that you see on there. You can also follow our personal pages. Mine is Jamie Burton, but with 2 A's. And they're like down here below.
And you can follow me on my personal page. It is Lauren_Wolverton on Instagram. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, y'all.
y'all.